What's going on, folks? My name is Justin Freed, and I'm joined today by New Orleans Saints linebacker Demario Davis. Demario, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, my man?
I appreciate you joining me, dude. So you're here today on behalf of, well, I mean, yourself and, of course, the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats campaign. You've chosen to partner with Stand Together as your cause this year. Can you
Yeah.
tell me and everyone watching a little bit about this foundation and how you got started with them?
Yeah, Stand Together is an amazing philanthropic community that looks to tackle America's biggest issues at the root level. And they're passionate about many different spaces, but one of them is education and transforming education. That's a passion of me, my wife, and our foundation with Devoted Dreamers. And transforming education, we don't believe in a one-size-fit-all model. We don't think that that helps our all of our kids advance forward. Many margins are left behind, and we want to transform education at the root level. And we believe that there's a way to impact students in a way that's unique to their gifts and their strengths, and create opportunities around their limitations and not turn them into barriers. And so that's something that we're passionate about, and it's been great partnering with Stand Together on that.
I love that, man. One phrase I've heard you say a lot in this campaign is that you want to make learning personal. Can you kind of explain exactly what that entails and why it's such an important concept to grasp?
Yes, we're all unique. If you look at our hands, we all have different fingerprints, and so that's one thing is that we're all different and we're all unique. We're all special, and really understanding what makes us special. And because of the way that I'm oriented, you're oriented, somebody else is oriented, it's going to play into our learning styles. We're all going to learn differently, and so if we come into a classroom where there's one instructor, and we're all forced to kind of be tested and measured under the same system, it's going to benefit some who learn that way very well, and it's going to probably be very unfortunate and inopportune for some of us. And so it's about understanding how we learn, how we thrive, and trying to create environments where every kid that comes into a learning space is able to thrive. You know, some people need to be one-on-one. Some people need to be in a group. Some people need to be inside. Some people need to be outside. Some people need to be with their hands, you know, working with their hands. Some people are audio visual. And so just understanding all those different learning styles and really building curriculum around what makes you learn best so that I can help you grow. And that's really what we want is people to grow.
It's almost like it's different coaching styles and how coaches have to adapt to coaching different players. And obviously, you and your wife, I believe, both have backgrounds in teaching as well. So you can kind of use that as well to look ahead to this cause. And I guess it influences the way you look at education as a whole. I imagine being a football player as well helps that process as well. You know, with your your background in teaching, and of course, how much you were in the football world and the coaching world in general.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head when you talk about it and break it down in terms of coaching. Some coaches to reach players have to draw the plays and the pictures on the board. Some people work better if you hand them a paper with the plays on the paper and it's written down and wrote in details in sentences. Some people do well with the coach being in front. Some people do better watching film. Some people do better walking out on the field and practicing. And that's why you do all those different types to make sure that everybody gets it. Because ultimately, football is the ultimate team game, and you need all 11 people, no matter their different learning styles, to be able to come together and get a job done. And that's really what you're looking at in America for our country to thrive. We need all of us individuals to thrive. We need all the citizens to thrive. And how do we do that? Well, I need to be able to pull the best out of you. And the only way I can pull the best out of you is to put you in an environment where you're going to thrive. And sometimes I think we measure kids based on our testing and our standardized tests. And we say, hey, this kid is thriving, this kid is struggling. Well, it may just be the test. It may not be that that kid is struggling. It may be the measurement system that we're looking at. And that's what we want to come in and take a look at it and look at transforming.
For sure, dude. And you do so much incredible charity work off the field. You mentioned your Devoted Dreamers Foundation as well. I think the impact that you make in your communities is it's ineffable. Like it can't be put into words. And honestly, I'd love to dive deeper into that another time. But we got to talk a little about football today. Really,
Absolutely.
we got a tight schedule. You had one of the most impressive Ironman streaks in modern NFL history. You played 197 consecutive regular season games. Unfortunately, that streak did come to an end in week 4 of this year. How difficult was it for you to miss that Falcons game? Like talk to me about what your emotions were that week.
I think initially it was very tough just because, it was different. But
Mm.
I was able to put things in perspective, man, to really think about, playing 13 years and never having missed a game, never have missed a snap, you know, was what was amazing. And here I am in year 13 and I'm missing my first game. How can I be upset? I mean, I just had to really think about like how blessed I was to have experienced a career that has gone this well and not having experienced, any significant time lost. And so I was just grateful. It was a time for me to reflect because when you're doing a streak like that, you're not really going for the streak. You're just trying to put the work in and go out and be the best player that you can for your team and your teammates. And that's all I had been focusing on. And so when I wasn't able to play, I just was able to reflect and just, man, say, man, God, thank you. I would look like a spoiled kid if I was complaining about having missed one game in a 13-year career at the position that I play, which is very physical and violent. And so I ended up being just very grateful. Then I started thinking about all the other areas that I was blessed to be able to impact my team. I can impact without being on the field. And so I could be helping my teammates. I could be mentoring them. I was still vocal. I led our pregame speech. And so it was a challenge at first, just because you're a human being and you do have those emotions. But when I put things in perspective, man, I couldn't help but reflect and be grateful.
You mentioned that 13 years in the league, and I feel like your longevity is something that is very admirable, and like you said, at your position is very unorthodox. I would say you turn 36 years old next month, and you're still playing some of the best ball of your career. What do you attribute that longevity to?
I just always say, man, praise Jesus. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I'm 36. I got 6 kids. My oldest kid is 11. Our youngest is 8 months, and you know, uh, I still love the game. I still love doing all the preparing. I love the training. I have a great team around me, and every time I step out on the field, I haven't lost my speed. I haven't lost my strength. I'm still able to go out and make plays, and I'm still having a ton of fun doing it. And so, as long as I step out there and I'm able to make an impact, I'm going to continue to do that. Also, it's given me a great platform to be able to impact the world, and so I'm just grateful. And so I think a lot of it is I love what I do. I care about my craft. I'm willing to put the time and the energy into it. And my body is still responding. As long as my body and my mind is responding, um, I think I'm just going to continue to maximize the opportunity that I have. I think that a lot of times there can be a conversation around a limitation that you may place on yourself. And so just because, you get 10 plus years in the league or you get above 30, people expect a certain type of drop off to happen. And yeah, you would assume so. But if it's not happening, then why play into it? And I think that's what I try to do. I think a big part of it is just protecting my mind, protecting my emotions, and protecting my body at this point. And um, it's still going well, and I'm grateful.
I got one more thing for you before we sign off. Speaking candidly for a moment, like you're someone that I've always admired, and quite honestly, someone that I've dreamed about having the opportunity to speak to one day. And so for that, I thank you for taking the time, and I want to leave.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Of course, man. I want to leave you with one final question. By the way, I am a Jets fan, so I've been following you for a very long time. Uh, Again, honestly, one of my favorite players in the league. Grateful to have this opportunity right now. I'll leave you with one final question, and it's a bit of a loaded one, so I do apologize in advance.
Oh, good.
When you finally hang up your cleats, years in the future, when you're looking back on your career and years down the line, you're looking back at your life as a whole. What do you want your legacy to be?
I think it's twofold. Number one, I always want people to see me just as a servant of God. At the end of the day, I live to glorify Jesus with every opportunity that I have. And so I don't think that there's anything great about me. I think it's great who I serve. And I don't think my life is the way that it is, apart from his power working through my life. And I try to use every opportunity to not make it awkward, but to just let people know I'm not the source of my own life. Jesus is the source of my life. What you see, the good, is the Holy Spirit working through me. And just like every other person is bad or off, it's the flesh that's working in me. And so what we need to be is in our spirit, glorifying Jesus and denying our flesh. And so that's how I try to live. And that's what I really want my legacy to be when my time here is finished on the planet. Somebody who is pointing people to Jesus. I think inside of the game, what I want people to be inspired or encouraged by is that if you have a dream, it's possible. I wasn't the most talented. I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the strongest. I don't think anybody would have picked me out in the crowd when I was a kid and said, hey, that guy's going to go be something special. What I did was I had a dream and I poured all my resources into it. I said it, I spoke it, I worked at it, I trained, and I'm living in my dream. And I just want people to know that it's possible, because sometimes people think that their dream is crazy or it's not possible. And whatever that dream is, doesn't have to be in sports. It could be in medicine, or it could be in a courtroom. It could be dealing with aviation. It could be financial. It could be spiritual. It could be relational. It could, whatever you can visualize and want for yourself is possible. And I want my legacy to be, this was the guy who lived out his dream and said it was impossible and came from the worst odds and made something great. I'm come from a single parent household. I came from mid to below the poverty line. I grew up in Mississippi, where not a lot of people make it out of. I grew up, I got expelled from school, went to jail, almost lost my life multiple times. And, here I am living a dream, man, playing football on the highest level, playing at a high level, beautiful family, amazing wife, amazing kids, serving Jesus. And there's somebody that's living his dream. And I just want people to know that it's possible. And I hope that the way that I play the game and the way that I live my life encourages people that it's possible.
Hell yeah, man. Living the dream, using your platform to inspire change. I think it's very admirable. And I think a lot of people look up to you for it. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a jam-packed schedule today. So I can't say enough how much I appreciate you setting aside a little time, talk some football, talk about your work with the Stand Together Foundation. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, Jay, appreciate you. You be blessed, brother.
Appreciate you. Same to you.